going to transform the parabolas, all right? So let's write shifting or transforming the parabola. All right, so now if we have like y is equals to x squared, which is our main parabola, now it is positive, so it's going to be upwards, right? And I'm just going to draw a parabola which goes upwards. It needs to touch that line. All right, so that is my basic parabola y is equals to x squared. Now, what happens if I add 1 to it? All right, so if I add 1 to it, if I do plus 1 here, right? So plus 1 means it is moving up or down, right? Plus 1 means it moves up. So this vertex, this maximum or minimum point in this case, moves 1 up. The parabola exactly remains same. Nothing changes in the parabola. It still remains the same. It's just moved up 1. All right, so that is y is equals to x squared plus 1. All right. What happens if it becomes negative 1? So if you think of it, y is equals to x squared minus 1. So if plus 1 is moving it up, minus 1 is going to move it down. So if we move it down 1 here, it's the exact parabola, just moving up and just moving down. So that's exactly the same parabola, and it is moving down. So it has moved down. So that is y is equals to x squared minus 1. Right? So it is moving on the y-axis up and down. Now here, if I write these values in a slightly different way, so like if I subtract 1 on both sides, and I write y minus 1 is equals to x squared, and here it's going to be adding 1 on both sides, y plus 1 is equals to x squared. Right? So this makes more sense because it is moving on the y-axis and the changes are happening on the y-axis, right? So here it is y minus 1, right? So y minus 1 means whatever y was. So now if you think something is moving down, so it's not the curve that is moving up, it is the y-axis that is moving down. So when y-axis move down, so when this line moves down, this graph is going to go up, right? So the graph is staying at its place, but it's the y-axis that is moving up and down rather than the curve moving up and down. All right, it's just like visually it's better to understand in the function. So if we want the function to move up, we have added 1. Right? I hope I'm not confusing you too much, but it's like it's easier to understand the y-axis because the changes are happening in the y-axis. Right? So when it's like the y-axis is moving down, so the graph stays there, but the y point, instead of 0, because it has moved down now, it becomes 1. When it moves up, it's going to become minus 1. All right? Leave in the comments if that's confusing you or it is making more sense now. All right? I just wanted to know if it is actually easier to understand in this way or not. Just my brains understands it better because if it is changing on the y-axis, the change should be visible on the y-axis rather than on the x side. Right? So that is one of the transformation. It's like when y-intercept move, you move your curve up or down. Right? Now, what if we move the x-axis? So here, if I'll draw another one because otherwise it's going to look messy. So if I have the same x is equals to, oh, what's wrong with this? So let us suppose that's my y is equals to x squared curve. All right, so that is my y is equals to x squared curve. Now here I'm changing the x values. So if y is equals to x squared is now y is equals to x plus 1 squared, right? So it is x plus 1, right? So my x-axis is now changing. Now if you look back on the other side, now here, that's why I was explaining the y-axis one, because here if it is x is minus 1, x is minus 1 means y minus 1 means the y-axis is moving down. Y-axis is moving down means the x into your curve, your function or your graph will have one step above, right? So now here, if your x-axis is moving one, so this line, if I just shift this line, if I shift this line 1 point here, so instead of 0 being here, so let me use another one. So what I'm doing is I'm moving this line 1 point above, right? So wherever my 0 was, if I have moved it 1 this way, 0 is here and this becomes -1, right? So my 0 is -1 now. So my curve is on -1 now. So it's exactly the same curve, but it is on x plus 1 square. Yeah, make sense? Cool. So now if I take that away, if I have y is equals to x minus 1 square. So now my x-axis, the line is moving. So my line is now moving this way 1 point. So wherever my 0 was, so that was my 0. Now because this line has moved this way, now the 0 has moved to 1. So this point, the 0 point is now 1, not 0 anymore. All right, it's the x-axis that is moving. So you're moving x-axis up and down, right? So now at 1, my curve has moved to 1. Y is equals to x plus minus 1 square, right? Yeah, I hope it makes sense. But your y-intercept, because it is moving, now your y-intercept is at 1 as well, right? Because when you open this expression, equation, it's going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1, or minus 2x because it is minus. And this is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So your y-intercepts are plus 1 for both of those. I hope it makes sense. So usually in the equation form, it shows, especially in the y one, it shows that the graph is moving up and down, but it's not the graph that is moving up and down. It's the lines, it's your axis that's what is moving around, right? I hope this makes sense. And if it does, please comment below, because I want to know that is this the right way I should be explaining, or should I find a better way? Because my brains understand this way better than moving the graphs up and down. I hope this makes sense. Cool. Have a good day.